Hi, my name is Crystal Miller, and today I want to talk to you about an important subject. How often do we stop and ask each other how we're doing? Not just a hey, how are you that expects a fine in return, but truly deeply ask how each other is doing. Today's topic is something that affects millions globally, yet still often hides in the shadows: depression. It can touch anyone: students, professionals, parents, even those who appear to have everything going right. Let's take a few minutes today to understand depression, its causes, symptoms, and how we can help, and how healing is possible, because the more light we shed on the topic, the less power the darkness has. Understanding the causes of depression. First, let's talk about why depression happens. There isn't just a single cause. It's more like a tangle of biological, psychological, and social factors. We have stress and trauma, substance abuse, hormonal disbalance, chronic medical conditions, genetics. You could be born with depression, it could be in your DNA. Environmental factors, high fat diets, grief, changes in neurotransmitters, socioeconomic factors. All of these can be a reason for depression. Depression affects everyone. It may affect people differently. Symptoms of depression are not only sadness. Persistence and feeling of sadness and emptiness can be one of the symptoms. You also have loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed, significant changes in your appetite or weight, fatigue or low energy, even after having enough rest, trouble concentrating or making decisions, feeling guilty, worthless, or helpless, and finally, the worst of all, having thoughts of suicide. Some people may become more irritable or socially withdrawn. For others, symptoms might be mostly physical: headaches, stomach pains, or difficulty sleeping. If someone seems off for more than a couple of weeks, it's worth checking in, genuinely and compassionately checking in on them. The good news: depression is treatable. There are several avenues for healing. You have therapy, you have medications, lifestyle changes, support networks. One of the therapies is called CBT therapy. It helps you to rewire your brain in the way you think, causing and affecting the depression that you're going through. Taking Talking with a licensed mental health professional can make the world of difference. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy help reframe negative thinking patterns. Medications like antidepressants can balance the brain chemicals that influence mood. It's not about becoming someone else, it's about clearing the fog so you can reconnect with yourself. Daily habits matter. Regular exercise, balanced nutrition, meaningful social interaction, and quality sleep all contribute to emotional balance. Family, friends, and support groups provide reassurance that no one is alone. Even a single conversation can be life changing. But there's still a stigma. People may hesitate to ask for help because they fear being judged. That's why we, as friends, family, classmates, and coworkers, need to build a culture where seeking help is respected and not dismissed. At this point, I want to share a personal story. I have been dealing with depression since I was 11 years old. It started off with being bullied about my size and my family situations. I was secluded from my family and treated like an outcast. The only person I really had back then was my dad. He stood by me through everything. At the age of 17, I tried to take my life for the first time. My dad committed me and tried to get me help. As I got older, the depression got worse. There were days when I woke up begging to die and just didn't want to do anything anymore. I wouldn't eat, sleep, and I just couldn't function. I started seeing doctors and trying different meds to figure out what to do to help me. Last year, I lost my dad, and it was really, really hard on me. It's one of the hardest things I ever had to go through. A few months after his death, I lost my home, and I have been living out on the streets, but I have kept trying. I went to school, made good grades because I felt like I owed him that much. A week ago, on the anniversary of his death, I found out that I was pregnant with my first child, and I was really happy. But I unfortunately had a miscarriage and lost that child. And it got harder for me to cope. I stopped eating, couldn't sleep, and neglected my schooling because I felt like I had no purpose anymore. Still homeless. I was living in a Motel 6, but recently we moved in with another family member and we're living in their living room. These moments of pain seem like they get harder and harder. And it seems like the world is ending and suddenly you bounce back to normal like nothing happened. It messes with you. It makes you feel like you're crazy and like you can't be helped. But I'm here to tell you that you can. You can survive this and you can get better. It just takes time. Stories like this remind us healing is possible. One act of kindness, one open conversation, one moment of courage, that's all it takes to start the journey back to who you were. Depression doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It hides behind a smile or just a tired excuse. Again, how often do you stop and ask somebody how they are and don't expect a fine in return? Somebody may say they're fine, but deep inside they're hiding so many other things, so much more pain than you can imagine. But when we learn, the more we talk and the more we normalize mental health struggles, the better we can support one another. Whether you're someone who's struggling or someone who wants to help, you're not alone. There's hope and there's help and there is healing. So let's be gentle with each other. Let's be brave enough to speak up. And let's never underestimate the power of asking someone, how are you truly? Thank you.